If it's your first time to pass through this channel, I'm going to ask you to subscribe. Make sure that you ring the bell. And to my regulars, I want to say thank you so much for sticking around. Yo, it's interesting and a happy Monday. It has been a blessed weekend, but yeah, a lot really has been going on, but God is good. So we need to move on. We need to move on. Where are we today? Everyone is saying, the CCC MPs must pull out of parliament. But here's the problem. The problem is that everyone wants it to happen now. And I'm like, no, man, this is a big decision now. And it has to be articulated in the right way. You can't just wake up and say, CCC, stop. And then all of a sudden they pull out. No, there's a lot that needs to happen in the background. Good to see you, Evanice. Thank you so much for coming through. Yo, thank you for joining in. We need to have a conversation. I actually need to know what you guys think about the CCC MPs. We spoke about this last week, but hey, the pressure is mounting. People are saying it is enough. CCC MPs must like break free from parliament. What's your thought on that one? President Nelson Chamisa for Citizen Coalition for Change. Hi, Misha, good to see you. How you doing? So Nelson Chamisa said, being refined in the furnace of affliction, I'm feeling so charged and fired up. His grace is sufficient. Have a blessed week. God is in it. Good morning. Esa, good to see you. Tapera, good to see you. You know, Nelson Chamisa chilled. And I'm also chilled. I don't know why people are pushing, especially ex-guys, the people that are on Twitter. They're putting him under a lot of pressure. But Nelson Chamisa is very calm. He's not that type of a person, and I respect him for that. That's why I feel like he's the great person in terms of leadership. Hi, George. Good to see you. He's actually the person that we are all looking for. We can't have a leader who's just being swerved by almost everything. That person speaks, he jumps. That person talks, he jumps. No. A president of a country must be a diplomatic person who has the capacity to apply wisdom always. Balance in intelligence. That's what we're looking for. That's why we're super excited right now. Please, your thoughts on the CCC MPs. Like I said to you, the calls are mounting. They are saying it is enough. We need to definitely let go of the parliament. And can I say, I think this will be the beginning of peace in Zimbabwe. I can only imagine a parliament full of only ZANU PFs. How are they going to debate? How are they going to call each other to order? Imagine. The entire parliament is just full of ZANU PF supporters. How are they going to call each other to order? And that's what I'm waiting to see. So yeah, I'm waiting to see that. I'm definitely waiting to see that. Quite interesting. Very interesting days ahead, honestly. Interesting days ahead. All right, so Advocate Kakana, he's a South African advocate. Interesting man, very intelligent man, but well equipped by the politics of the old, which was the ZANU PF politics and the ANC politics. You must know, if you saw what happened this past weekend, you'll be shocked. That ANC started applying those script for ZANU PF, but we'll get into that issue a little bit later this afternoon. I want to focus on the CCC MPs. I want you to take a listen to the wise counsel that were dropped by Advocate Mukakana. He said, no, when elections no longer work, but there will always be a way out. So take a listen to Advocate Mukakana, please.
Elections are what will free you. It's not true. When people are corrupt, they control how elections happen. They control the results. They control the judiciary. They control parliament. They control cabinet. They control the media and all levers of power in society. And where do you go?
My bad.
And I'm not suggesting that you should be violent, but I'm suggesting that when those spaces are closed, it's not now, I don't know when, you will feel the pinch. When those spaces are closed for our workers to be human, to get benefits from what they suffer for underground and elsewhere, when our young people know that they have no future under this system, and when those institutions of the state can no longer protect you, it is not a crime to seek other means to overthrow a government.
Did you hear
It
that?
would be a sin to allow a sinful, evil state to destroy generations while you tolerate it, while you watch. The sin would not be turning against that system. The sin is watching it and tolerating it. When our people are condemned for the next 400 years, this belief that elections...
I really want to repeat this for a reason.
Elections are what will free you. It's not true. When people are corrupt, they control how elections happen. They control the results. They control the judiciary. They control parliament. They control cabinet. They control the media and all levers of power in society. And where do you go? And I'm not suggesting that you should be violent, but I'm suggesting that when those spaces are closed, when those, I don't know when, you will feel the pinch.
We already feel
When
the
those
pinch.
spaces are closed for our workers to be human, to get benefits from what they suffer for underground and elsewhere, when our young people know that they have no future under this system, and when those institutions of the state can no longer protect you, it is not a crime to seek other means to overthrow a government. It would be a sin to allow a sinful, evil state to destroy generations while you tolerate it, while you watch. The sin would not be turning against that system. The sin is watching it and tolerating it. When our people are condemned for the next 400 years, this belief that elections...
We all know where we are right now. I think Zimbabweans, we felt the pinch a long time ago, but it's getting worse. Now we're definitely in excruciating pain. And you can hear advocates say, no, this belief that elections work. Honestly, we can all attest to the fact that elections failed us. I don't think they will ever be able to resolve our issues in Zimbabwe. Except all our institutions are reformed, there won't be no election in the country. I don't think if they could say, okay, I'm not going to wait for 2028, but let's assume I am not going to even register to vote. There is no reason. I'm not going to allow these people abuse my time and abuse me. I am not going to register to vote. And many people are saying, no way, we will not. That's why we are seeking remedies now. We are not waiting for 2028. No one has time for that. It's all in ZANU PF's head. We, as a Zimbabwean people, won't wait for 2028, unfortunately. Now, Alinaka said the Zimbabwean political ecosystem is cleaning up itself like the sea at this moment. What will emerge is realignment and separation from political debris. Agreed. Things are working out as we speak because no, where we are, we have reaching that boiling point where there's no turning back. We are not going to allow ourselves to be abused any longer. What's going on in our society is definitely not who we are, and we are divorcing these actions from who Zimbabwe is. We have made one mistake of thinking that ZANU PF is actually, it does not have monopoly for the country. ZANU PF does not have title deeds to Zimbabwe. It must be known. They do not have title deeds to Zimbabwe. Let that be known. For that reason, we are saying no, elections don't work. We have to fix this country. No one is going to wait for 2028 because we never had an election anyway in 2023. Even all these councils, the nonsense that went down this past weekend. How can you call someone an elected member when they only have 8% of the entire society? How do you become a leader? How do you become a leader when you were voted out by the people? And then you are being brought back through the back door. And you expect people to respect you. But Sandra Ndebele, you are not the right people for the positions. Because you were never voted. I do not care how you shake yourself. Nobody cares really. We want the right people who are there to lead the country moving forward. So Zimbabwe is cleaning itself as we speak. It may look like it's a joke. For ZANU PF, they're too comfortable because they've been playing these dirty games for too long. And they think that the same script that they played with Monzora will work with Songezo. It doesn't work. We are work. Do you know that if you keep on taking the same medication, your cells and your blood becomes immune to that treatment? Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm using the word. Is it immune? Oh, I don't know if I'm using the right word, but I guess, yeah. And if you don't change medication, then it no longer work. Your blood cells is used to the medication. We are used to these stupid scripts. We have seen them. We have walked through the journey of it. We saw ones who are messing up with MGC. Everything was torn apart. You're coming after Triple C as well to destroy. I mean, at first people were blaming. Guys, honestly, I think sometimes I do not realize how we operate. Everyone, not everyone, some people maybe they knew, but they pretend like they did not know, especially watching on. I'm going to get to watching him. I'll get there right now. Immediately after the shenanigans of Songezo Tshabangu, he was claiming that no, it's not ZANU PF. There are people who are disgruntled in the party because, you know, it's very close to Tendebiti. Fair play. It's your friend, and we understand that and we respect that. But people kept on saying something happened. Wapoching may have gotten himself a brown envelope because the way he turned against Chamisa was interesting to watch. Remember, he got a lot of following because of his respect and his push for let's register to vote. But within like a twinkle of an eye, the dude turned against Nelson Chamisa, and everyone didn't understand why. What happened? How did he turn? How did he turn? But Gift Ostalos is very clear. He said we are very, very clear about where we stand. They're not turning back. They're very clear.
The entire election in this country was flawed. The entire election in this country was illegal. The entire election in this country, I'm not so sure which language should I use to put it unequivocally, that the election in this country was flawed in its entirety and in total, and Triple C has rejected the election, and the solution is holding a new, fresh, and proper election in this country. We have made it very clear that the entire election in this country was flawed. The entire election in this country was illegal. The entire election in this country, I'm not so sure which language should I use to put it unequivocally, that the election in this country was flawed in its entirety and in total, and Triple C has rejected the election, and the solution is holding a new, fresh, and proper election in this country.
Very clear. There's no truth that can say past that. Non-negotiable. The election was flawed. There was never an election. All these charades that carry on, they're simply playing games. There's nothing, absolutely nothing. What happened this past weekend was a joke. A joke. And as a Zimbabwean people, we keep on subjecting ourselves to that lie. Not again. No, not again. Zimbabwe, a broken soul, in my opinion. Our problems are deeper, are deep, deep, deep. They filters from a broken family life, whether we like it or not. Nelson Chamisa is definitely a victim of broken souls. We can all attest to the fact that there is no any other reason why you would abuse your own brother or your own sister unless your soul is broken. There's no reason. We think it's the politics the problem. It's not the politics that is the problem. If we check right now where we are, even in diasporas for those that are in, let's just look at how we are treating each other. Let's check what's going on social media, how much we're spilling hatred day in, day out. Let's look at our family life. How do you treat your cousins? How do you believe in your sisters, your aunts? Do you really wish them well? Do you believe in their success? Because only an evil heart would come around the vulnerable and break the person into pieces. We saw the entrance of Songezo. It was very clear. Even when Nelson Chamisa spoke clearly and upright, people didn't believe him. He was very clear. Songezo is an imposter. But again, people didn't believe him. They didn't. Some said, no, it's people are disgruntled. Resolve your issues. But he says, no, the guy's an imposter. We have become a society that thrives in toxicity. So when truth is being spoken, we pretend like we don't hear. Because what we want is drama. We are always in search of drama. So even when there is order, we'll create toxicity in order to feed our egos. So it's bigger than just the politics. It's definitely are broken souls.
Streets. I must say, for the record, my hands are clean. My conscience is very clear. My resolve is unbreakable. And my heart is pure. These hands you see have not spilled blood. These are clean hands. The mouth you see here has never conspired to have a life that is lost on the basis of political violence. I've said that violence is not part of our DNA.
Soldiers opened fire and killed.
This is exactly what he said in 2018. He's the same man that we are speaking to today. He kept on standing up. I don't know Songezo Tshabangu. And everybody, no, how can you not know? We saw you taking pictures. Taking pictures means absolutely nothing. I've taken pictures with a lot of people. I've worked with a lot of people, but if you ask me, do I know them? I'll tell you I don't. And someone will try to justify that nonsense. I don't know the person. A person can wake up today and begin to say whatever they want to say about me. And I'm going to tell you, but I don't even know her. I don't even know what she's talking about. She seems to know me, but I don't even know her. He was very clear. He is an imposter. He's working with ZANU PF. But people could not believe him. Rex Meads said, the truth is the sitting MPs sitting in parliament rejected what Nelson Chamisa advised, which was to withdraw. As I sit in political terraces, I observe that people are in different struggles. He was very clear, guys, don't proceed with this, don't proceed with the swearing in parliament. But they proceeded. When they proceeded in being sworn in parliament, things are going haywire from point A to point B. Let me tell you, when you're dealing with the devil, get this right. I'm going to make it clear. When you're dealing with evil people, don't ever bow to their actions. Because the more you bow into the action, the more they hurt you. I can tell you in my experience, I've realized that I don't want to be rude, but I think us as an African people, we don't know how to deal with love. Because when we face to face with love, what do? We have a way of hating those that love us. I lived two lives, okay? Two lives very balanced. A traditional life, I know it well. Traditional life, I know it very well. A rural life, I know it well. I also lived an English life. I know how to balance the two. But one thing that I don't like about our traditional life is we seem to be very much comfortable in toxicity and hatred. We rather invest our time in fights than resolving issues around the table. Whereas when you compare to white people, it's different. White people believe in we sit around the table and we resolve. Whether they are divorcing, it's very rare to find them kick the shoes, breaking them. No, it's very rare. Until we realize that it boils down to our souls that are broken. Whether be it in church, toxicity everywhere. Be it at work, we cause havoc. In diasporas, there are people that are fighting because someone else is just successful more than they are. That person becomes an enemy. When we find that your cousin or your aunt or someone is successful in the family, will do everything in your power to destroy them. It boils down to broken souls. Zimbabwe is in a mess today because our people are broken. It's not politics. We're not the only ones who's doing elections. Even the most poor country that we think it is, Malawi, they're not facing the same challenges as we do. We are a broken people. Until that is resolved, there's no reason whatsoever for us to fight. There's no reason. We all, if we desire to see Zimbabwe a better country, what is wrong with us sitting around the table, come up with solutions that will let us move forward? What is wrong if Chamisa can be the president? What is wrong if someone can succeed? What is wrong if the young can be better? But if it's my son, yes, it's okay. If it was Mr. Mnangagwa's son at 45 want to be the president, he was going to be okay with that. The president. Honestly, I know. That's why one of his sons is the deputy minister of finance. Or most of his relatives are in positions in the country. It's okay as long as it is for him, from his family. And I'm saying this with all respect. Boils down to who we are. We rather tore the country apart because our hearts and our souls are broken. The victim suffers from our bullying. Instead of extending grace, we keep attacking the people that are in pain. We saw how Nelson Chamisa worked from pillar to post, from corner to corner. Sometimes they were not sleeping. They were sleeping in those areas so that they could keep up on the command trail. But we saw ZANU PF busing the whole country, using the man for the state, doing as they please. We can see on a weekend of Shivayo, bring cars like tomatoes. They're showing off online. We can see. There's no track record of where he works. When you do lifestyle audit, you can't. All the tenders that he's being given, he's not even doing the work. He can't even provide the services. But he keeps on getting expensive, very high tenders. You ask yourself questions. But we'll rather pursue the victim than dealing with the right people that we really need to face and say, hey, sir, tell us what's really going on. It boils us to who we are and our lack of the will to face the right people. We rather face the wrong people and attacking them. Something happened this past weekend. This past on Friday, all the drama that happened, the judgment that was actually done overnight. I just wish I've got the letter from the judge that was robbed into this whole mess. I had the letter, man. I had the letter where he said, I was just called in the middle of the night to come. And I even came out like, well, am I here? They said, no, just do what we say. The guy wrote a letter and said, I don't even know what they're talking about. But they said it was the judge who preside in the judgment that CCC must be scrapped. This was done in the middle of the night. The election announcement was done in the middle of the night. We can see all those wrongs, but we pretend like we don't see them. But we rather go in and fight the ones that are trying to make a society a better place. Again, boils down to who we are, our broken souls. CCC sent out a statement last night. And I'm going to read the statement. It says, statement on the fraudulent by-elections that just passed. You saw the elections that passed. The just ended ZANU PF masterminded by-elections gave the full picture of the regime's brazen determination to undermine democracy, shred the constitution and deny citizens their unalienable right to vote, respective of their choices. What is worse is a showcase of a complicit judiciary in undermining the very laws that are supposed to uphold. In a string of judicial on the eve of the by-elections at midnight, Justice Muzenda gave that. Justice Muzenda, the man who wrote a letter, said, please leave me alone. I was just called in the middle of the night. I don't know what they were talking about. Who contested ZANU PF's primary election 2013? As per the letter that was circulating, I don't know if it was him, but as per the letter, he signed on it. So I don't know if that's true, but nobody can believe everything is chaos. So you don't know which one is right or wrong. I've never seen a country that is so chaotic to a point where people can write fake letters. I've never seen such chaos in my life. Never, 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 never. Who contested ZANU PF's primary election in 2013 was brought from Mutare to deliver a nocturnal order to execute the Katio judgment without granting CCC and his candidates their right to be heard through a lawyer of their choice. Whereas the court was willing to hear ZANU PF imposters Tshabangu in the heart of the night. Get that? The imposter got the red carpet. He was literally, they received the red carpet in the middle of the night. They rolled the red carpet for Tshabangu in the middle of the night, disregarding the entire Zimbabwe, the entire electorate. This dude here, you saw him how he was laughing in court, you saw it? The arrogance and the pride. And this is someone's husband. He's a father to someone. The CCC was not invited to Justice Muzenda's justice surgeon. The party took all necessary legal steps to ensure the inclusion of our candidates on the ballot through appealing the misdirected judgment by Justice Katio, arising from an equally misdirected initial judgment by Justice Mutevezi. It is said that more than 40 years after independence, citizens have to approach the course to be on the ballot paper and actually being denied that right, effectively denying citizens the choice to vote for the removed candidates. The effect of the biased judgment is a judicial coup on the concerned constituencies and a result that is illegitimate and unrepresentative of the will of the voters. This further exacerbates the ongoing legitimacy impulse stemming out of the flawed sham on the 23rd of August 2023. It is disturbing that the government spent a whopping USD $5 million conducting needless by-election only to deny citizens the choice to vote in the election. Further evidence of scarce financial resources poured down the drain at a time when resources are directly required to combat cholera, equip hospitals, and prepare emergency measures for the forecasted severe drought. The ill-funded by-elections are a sham is evidenced by an unprecedented low voter turnout, agreed, an unusually high number of spoiled ballots, both signaling the people's anger and growing impatience against the regime shenanigans. Coupled with the flawed and contested outcome of the 23rd of August 2023, the effect of this order is a judicial coup on the right to vote and to be voted for in Zimbabwe, an undeniable affront against the Constitution of Zimbabwe. Accordingly, we will be filing a formal complaint with the Judicial Service Commission under the continued leadership and guidance of CCC President Advocate Nelson Chamisa. We continue to reiterate that SADC are facilitating dialogue with a view to implement the reforms necessary to enable the conduction of a fresh election is the only solution to Zimbabwe's deepening legitimacy and political crisis. And some people begin to attack them and say, no, don't talk about SADC. As much as I know we need a solution now, we need to remember, if we need a long-lasting solution, it's going to be a process. I'm not a person who believes in microwave solutions. It doesn't work. This is why I've been saying to those that are on X, on Twitter, people who are trying to bash CCC, no, are you guys pulling out? Oh, pull out now. But you need to remember, this is a very, very serious decision that requires a meeting. It can't happen overnight. Wake up and just stop. Oh, tomorrow come back. No, guys, left doesn't work like that. We are reacting to almost everything. And by the way, there are so many ghost accounts that have been unleashed by ZANU PF to push a narrative that people must stay in parliament. Don't follow such. It's people who are on a payroll. But one thing that I've realized, those people actually, I went to ZCC, I saw some of them, and my heart was broken. But you know what? If you can take a person in the rural, get this, do you know that there are so many intelligent people in the rural spaces who went to school that were doing extremely well in those very, very marginalized areas? If you pick up that kind of a guy who is very much, who's not that exposed to life, and you take them to the Herbert School of Ideology, what do you expect? What do you expect? They can threaten you. They can tweet. They can even Facebooking. They can TikToking. They're all over the place. They're also here on YouTube as well. They always speak vile whenever they say something that may even, touch their nerve. My point is that, what do you expect when you're taking someone from the rural area who's very good at school? There's so many schools out there. We have intelligent kids. Those are the kids, if Zimbabwe was a good country, would be getting a lot of bursaries to either study outside the country or at the highest university in the country. But most of them are marginalized. But then, when you're vulnerable, then the wicked will use you. They will take those people, pull them to the School of Ideology, drilling lies. Sanctions are destroying the sanctions. Chamisa is a bad man. He's causing you suffering, you're suffering. It's the wise people who are causing you suffering. Huh? America thinking about the nonsense going down in the country? Americans have got better things to worry about. While you're busy yapping lies, they're busy having Thanksgiving and be eating and drinking with their families. This is about closing $1 billion deals. To even think about your nonsense that's happened down there. You're the last person they ever think about. The only thing they can do is to block you so that you don't even play with them. They don't want to play with you because you're toxic. It's not because you are having anything that is so important. No, because you're toxic. They're like, no, I can't be your body. I can't be your friend. You know, no, it's your character. It's you. I don't want to be your friend. It's not because they want anything from you. No, nothing, absolutely nothing. You are their puppets. As a matter of fact, elites from Zimbabwe, American puppets. You are the one following them. We saw you. If $1 million, if that was correct, if that was true, to come and patch a bag, that's being a puppet, yo. Who does that? Who does that? If that man could have fit the entire Mabvuku, but the man was given a guy to just come and punch who's the puppet right there? You are the puppet. Again, boils down to a broken soul. Now, you know, there's always this conversation between the ruling party and Citizen Coalition for Change, accusing them that they're the reason why the whole council is a mess. But remember, I played for you a video last week where the Mr. Mnangagwa, when he was a minister, was talking, the president was talking to ZANU PF people and was telling them, no, just make sure that whatever is happening in the Harvest House, that was FDC then, it doesn't get through here. If there are complaints from the council, they don't get through here. We're only going to entertain everything that comes through the route of ZANU PF. But during the time of inauguration, when the president was speaking, I want you to take a listen to what he said. He literally said before the dignitaries, saying that the opposition is not dealing with the councils properly. Take a listen to him, please. That will show you the dynamics and the politics that will play in the country, how toxic and dirty they are.
Zero. Matters related to housing delivery, water and sanitation, among other social amenities, remain key to the modern, empowered, and prosperous Zimbabwe we all want and we all deserve. I call upon those elected at the local government levels to wholeheartedly serve the people of our great country, Zimbabwe. Our citizens, especially those in urban areas, have endured poor service delivery for far too long under the opposition. Ratepayers deserve hard-working and competent local authorities who will ensure that our towns and cities regain their long-lost pride through world-class service delivery.
Now, you are much aware that most of these speech, the president don't write them, right? The people that surround the president, the one that he was referring to, that they're having houses with helipads on, the ones that works in procurement, that he confirmed that I've seen big houses when I was flying around in Shawasha Hills, and those big houses, some of them have got helipads on top. And what I heard was most of the guys who's building these houses actually working in procurement. Are you surprised at how well Chivayo is doing stuff in the country? Does that surprise you? The guys are working in procurement. They're the one facilitating all these air ambulances that you saw, the 320 million that was paid to Russia. The 469 million, pounds, 469 million pounds, that is in trillions of rands, alleging that was invested. So the United Kingdom said we invested £500 million by the border there. Does that immigration looks like something that was spent like trillions of rands or 469 million pounds? It's those dudes that are staying in the Shawasha Hills, that are living those luxury life. They're the ones who are pushing. They're the ones that's keeping you in poverty and suffering. When you look at that place there, where they're claiming that thus far, the Mbudzi place, that they've been busy for decades. You saw the picture circulating. Does that project look like something that they invested about $188 million? I'm talking about Pambudzi, baby. Does that place look like something that they invested $188 million thus far? Which means there's going to be more money to be injected into the place. is the very same people, those ones that they were asking what happened to the 15 billion Marange diamonds, and they were looking at each other like, it's so and so, no, it's so and so, no. They're being asked about a car that costs maybe $50,000 in dollars, and they're saying that car is costing about $400,000. They're being asked a question, they just say, yeah, sorry, Mr. Divaning, they can't give you answers, but they're saying, Shawasha, we're coming for you at the right time and forum. These people are the reason why people are suffering. And they are using the president as a front. Now, bear in mind, they're using him as a front. Some people were claiming that they were removing the thieves around the president that had captured President Robert Mugabe and the former President Robert Mugabe. But now people are asking questions. We never saw no one was arrested. By the way, with all due respect, I still have questions that nobody ever answered me. My understanding is that during the time of the coup, when the people were literally, drove into exile, how come no one was ever hurt? Did you ever guys ask your questions? How come no one, absolutely no one was ever hurt? They were all claiming that no, there were bullets, they were taking pictures, houses were shot at. How come no one was ever hurt? Did you even hear someone who went to hospital or anybody? Did you ever hear that? I can imagine people come and shoot such bullets and nobody ever went to hospital. But there were thieves around the president at that time, Robert Mugabe. Now we're also sitting here. Now they're taking that narrative and that mantra. They're projecting it now on Nelson Chamisa. Now Songeza is coming and saying, we are removing thieves around the president. Excuse me? Do you know about the house that are in Shawasha? Are you aware of that? That the president confirmed that those people are in procurement. Do you also recall when President Emerson Mnangagwa was talking one day when they were having a meeting, their financial meeting, with was it Grandma Tunu? It's Grandma Tunu, hey? Because I confused Grandma Tunu, Grandma Tanga. I confused the two. You know the one that was, was it not? Is a minister? Whatever he does, but the big dude that talks very loud and that guy. You remember him? Yeah. That guy, when he said that there are people that are busy looting, and the president said, no, you are very lucky that you're in Zimbabwe. If you were in China, you could be a candidate for execution. Do you recall that? What happened to those people? Did you ever see anyone being arrested? What happened to those big boys? None yet. But people are busy attacking Nelson Chamisa and calling that there are thieves around him. Now, an article was written by Hopo Chingon. Very interesting article. The same person who was saying that, no, Songeza Tshabangu is not ZANU PF. It's CCC people who are disgruntled. Now he said, what CCC must do after crooked Tshabangu and ZANU PF Pali hest? Oh, all of a sudden, now you know it was a hest. But he was supporting him. He says, and also Chamisa faced one big problem. Most of his MPs campaigning used their own resources to get to parliament. And for many of them, parliament is a job and not a calling. How do you know? How do you know that it is a job, not a calling? Every time Hopo Uchimon want to act like a saint. Okay, with all respect, I respect him as a brother. But I don't like a person who always thinks that you are the only person who is good and everyone around is a bad person. How do you know that it's not a calling to them? How do you know? So some folks have asked me what needs to be done now since the crooked Tshabangu and ZANU PF coordinated plan has been fully implemented. But at first you were attacking Nelson Chamisa that it wasn't Songeza Tshabangu, wasn't ZANU PF's project. And now all of a sudden you're coming back, now you're gaslighting. Can you see? He's gaslighting. The dude got numbers. I'm going to have to unfollow him in many platforms, honestly. Because I don't like a person who is not stable. Who pretend like they don't know the wrong when it doesn't suit them, and then they know wrong when it suits them. They don't know where they belong or where they stand. I don't like people like that. ZANU PF now has a 2/3 majority in parliament after stealing Mabvuku and the subsequent seats coming its way thanks to Tshabangu. That is all they ever wanted, so that they can mutilate Zimbabwe's constitution and create an imperial president with no term limits. So let us agree that the opposition CCC are now simply going to parliament to collect the salaries, packs, the 4x4 and heckle their corrupt ZANU PF counterparts to no material effect. There's nothing that CCC MPs can stop in parliament after the catastrophic mistakes by their leadership. Sorry? It's not their mistake, their leadership now. It's not their leadership now. Hey, let me drink some water. There's nothing that CCC MPs can stop in Parliament after the catastrophic mistakes by their leadership, or first not pulling out of Parliament when Tshabangu's nonsense started, and secondly, when they didn't even listen to the advice to run as independents. There's nothing else that can be done since it is now clear that Tshabangu is a ZANU PF pawn. Oh, okay. After opposing an application to reinstate the Mabvuku-Tafara Member of Parliament when he initially lied on Blessed Mtlanga's show that he had recalled the CCC Mabvuku MP by mistake. Now that we are here, remaining in Parliament is only to give legitimacy to ZANU PF's corrupt rule agenda so that it pretends internationally that there is democracy in Zimbabwe, where there is none. The opposition must remain in councils because they are in control of them, and ZANU PF was never interested in them as for now. If ZANU PF starts recalling more opposition councillors through Tshabangu, the CCC should pull out too. CCC must realize that the game is up and it can't continue cuddling ZANU PF in its madness and continue to mutilation of the constitution unless it is deliberately complicit. Excuse me? ZANU PF doesn't want CCC to pull out of Parliament because it knows that there will be consequences internationally if Parliament remains in the hands of ZANU PF exclusively without opposition MPs. Even the empty attempts to engage in the West and its international financial institutions will stop. It will be a pariah regime. And in my opinion, they should pull out immediately, with immediate effect. And it's not even about whether there's international engagement, whether there is, cars and 4x4 in Parliament, whether there's going to be monthly salary of $300. What is $300 US anyway? $500. What is it anyway? What does it do? $500. It's nearly 11,000 rands. It doesn't even pay someone its rent. 11,000 rands. Maybe it's a lot of money in Zimbabwe. But I'm saying, what is $500,000? Sorry, $500. Listen to me, $500,000 US. So $500. It's simply 11,000 rands, if I'm not mistaken. What can it do? I think maybe it can be someone, you can't even buy groceries for Christmas with 11,000 rands, considering the kids, if you've got children, that need to be bought clothes. It's not enough. Is that what you can sell your destiny for? I think Zimbabweans need to understand that there's a difference between destiny and temporary gratification. Guys, there's a lot of toxicity, generational trauma that is coming out of all these shenanigans. This charade has caused nothing but trauma. Guys, this is destroying families. It's time for people to just pull out of this charade and nonsense and let's approach Zimbabwe in a different avenue. We cannot carry on entertaining this nonsense. Honestly, this has nothing to do with ZANU PF. It has nothing to do with CCC. It has everything to do with the violation of principles that govern peace, success, unity in our country. What's going on in the country is ruining generations. We need to put a stop into this by pulling out, not because of money, not because of cars, not because of whatever international engagement that you're calling, but because of principles that have been broken. A principle of respect of humankind, respecting the will of the people, endorsing all this Varaj Sandra Devele crepe that's going down is absolutely nonsense. Endorsing Manas Court, who can't even write a letter into Parliament, is a slap in the face of the people of Zimbabwe. Lives were lost in Mabvuku. Life. This is not about a politician. This is about principles. We cannot carry on being a country that everyone has to laugh at us wherever we go. At some point, we need to turn. And the time to turn is now. If CCC MPs pulls out, when they pulls out of Parliament, that's the beginning of change in Zimbabwe. It will pull ZANU PF to the table, negotiating table, to have a conversation in the country because things will not work. I can only imagine ZANU PF, all of them looking at each other in parliament and saying, what happened with the money? How are they going to debate? Things will be burning left, right, and center, yo. That's the beginning of change in Zimbabwe. Remaining in parliament will protect ZANU PF internationally. Like I said, it's not about international engagement. It's about authority first before we talk about international engagement. There's something here that I don't really understand. Why is it people think that, can I tell you, what will resolve a situation in Zimbabwe is not even money for your own information. It's not money. We have the money. It's there. The money is there. It's our sanity. It's dignity. It's peace that we have lost. It's unity that we lost that will resolve the problems in Zimbabwe. It's not money. It's not even money at all. The day ZANU PF leave that post, I'm telling you now, overnight things will change in the country. Do you think I lie? Check what happened immediately when there was a coup. Do you remember the way people began to, overnight, people thought finally we have the freedom that we need. I'm going to cry actually. Oh, help me God. We all thought now finally the freedom is here. But was the beginning of our pain. We literally move from the pot into the fire because we're still circulating around broken souls. People who have no conscience. It's the problem that we have is not the money. We're already a successful country. We have the money. We are rich. God bless us. 66 minerals for a reason. It's an issue of that we have lost each other. We have lost our unity. We have lost the love for one another. We're hating each other unnecessarily. Unnecessarily. We allow the wicked to keep feasting on our pain. And that has to stop. That's why the CCC MPs must pull out of parliament. The international, nobody cares about how you engage, whatever you're going to engage. It's like you tell me if I don't have a relationship with my father, and you start telling me that, no, your father, he's not going to go to America or getting a job, or you can't go to whatever to get a job. I don't care but he's going to get a job or no. I want a relationship with my father. I'd rather not have anything when I have a relationship with my father. I think that's what I'm making it. You're missing the problem. You're missing the point here. It's not the money the problem in our country. It's the dignity that we lost. It's the peace, it's being treated like human beings that we lost. That is the problem. Not the money. Because once that is settled, money will come. Overnight, Zimbabwe will change. Overnight. I'm telling you facts. Ask a person who have lived for years in an abusive relationship. Will tell you that they'll prefer to go and sleep on the floor and leave a house in Borode or Chishawasha and sleep on the floor in Bari. Why they have their peace. It's the peace that Zimbabweans are pursuing, not the money. And once peace is in place, money will follow. Those in the diplomatic community that will urge the opposition to remain in parliament will be doing so for selfish reasons, either as emissaries of ZANU PF. Like I said, there are so many ghost accounts that have been unleashed just to push people to say stay in parliament. There's no need. The principles are broken. It has nothing to do with who says what. The principles are broken. The fact that we had a shame of an election, the principle was broken. People could have rather been in the streets than to be in that parliament. Because the principles were broken. Guys, principles reign supreme. That's why every time when they're talking to a woman, it says, you rather marry a man who is broke, who don't have the money but having potential. What they're trying to say is, you rather have a man who's principled than a man with the money because he's going to make you live a hell of a life. You rather have someone who doesn't have the money. If you're a man, you rather have a woman not having a degree, but she'll give you peace. That you have this man who comes, I've got doctorate, I've got that and that, but she's toxic. It'll be a hell of a life that you're going to live. It's not about money. It's not about material things. It's not about a degree. It's about being human and respecting your neighbor, understanding that everyone deserves to live a peaceful, a loving, and a joyful life. It's not about material things. So it says, Nelson Chamisa faces one big problem. Most of his MPs campaign use their own resource to get into parliament. For many of them, parliament is a job and not a calling. I refuse that. Many of them have never had a single day's work. This is their first job. So they might defy him if he asks them to pull out. But that will be good for him if they do so, in my view, because the public needs to know those who are in for the money and those who are in for the struggle. I love that you said that, because we're going to reject those MP. Any MP who remain in parliament because you're going to get a job, you are out. You see, because remember, we voted for you, so our voices matter. Whatever we say matter. You can't contain that, because you're going to know that that's your problem. That's why I need to have a calling. Because parliament is not there forever. This is one of the reasons why there's so much abuse in the country. Because people who don't have a job, they're taking politics to be for a job. And then you're causing a lot of mess. This is one of the reasons why we have a lot of old people in parliament who's not supposed to be warm with their grandchildren, prepare for their legacy. They are stuck and be sleeping in parliament because they are there for jobs. We are fighting to build a very strong economy that affords anyone to create employment for themselves, not fighting for political gain. The reason why we are saying let's build a strong economy is because we need to assassinate this entitlement of forcing to be in parliament when as court, even if you don't have the qualities of being a leader in the society. Giving people a 2 kg of flour does not qualify you to be a leader. A 2 kg of flour in a family of 5 can only be used for 2 days. What's next? We want to do away with total dependence syndrome. We want to build a community that understands how to create wealth, how to create employment, how to self-sustain, not to depending on politicians. We wanted to assassinate this bootlicking nonsense. We do not want it in our society. So I said, I know most of those guys, they won't pull out. They will defy him, and it won't be in his financial interest too, because they pay ties to the party. Some of Chamisa's advisors who are handled by the regime will also advise him against pulling out. Remember, the regime is triple C in parliament. Chamisa is facing complex challenges both politically and strategically, and they are made worse by the fact that he has no strong and fearless team around him. How do you know? It's in your head, because you always think that it's about Tendai B2 strong. Excuse me, Tendai B2 is in a business with ZANU PF member, and it's known. It's known. It's not like, of course, really. The truth is that without pulling out of parliament or a political revolution, you have to wait for 2028, and nobody's going to wait for 2028, sir. Or any internal contradictions in his own PF to resolve themselves. Remember that Mnangagwa is not only dealing with the opposition, he's also solidifying his power and tightening his grip on both ZANU PF and the state. And that's where the danger is lying. I'm sure people in ZANU PF are like, no way. You know, I'm just seeing a Titanic that is sinking, in my opinion. I'm seeing a Titanic that is sinking. But the Titanic does not see, because it's relying on his strength. Remember, I'm the Titanic, everyone believe in me. Remember what happened in the Titanic? Yeah, everyone was like, it will never sink, yo. Oh no, it will never sink. And because of the resume, you've got a resume, reputation of stepping on people, squeezing people, leaving them bleeding. That's your resume. You're known for being this monster. Muammar Gaddafi was known for being this monster. But time deals with evil. Time deals with evil. But I think the problem started with the 40,000 that the MPs took. 40,000, and those 400,000 the judges took. That's where the problem started. At that moment, I knew that you guys, most people are compromised, because the principles could have shown you that, guys, the money we are taking, considering how our societies are, this won't be right. But that's where your strength were tested at that time. Your strength was tested at that time. And you proved that you were not strong enough to stand. Because honestly, it just requires sacrifice that we all going to say, okay, fair play. We are going to sacrifice the little that we have to build a strong future. That's all what we want in Zimbabwe. He said pulling out would make sense, but it won't happen for now. Tshabangu only recalled troublesome MPs and ZANU PF's request. ZANU PF needs triples in parliament for a false semblance of democracy to be projected internationally. It will do anything for Triple C not to leave. But based on what I know, because I think I saw when we were talking about the issue of pulling out, Muganwa was supporting it fully. And you know, when Muganwa speaks, I mean, Muganwa, not only him, I mean, there's quite a number of men of great minds and women of great minds. Anything that will expose ZANU PF, so let it be. And I say amen to it. So I really think that to build our country back, because ZANU PF is a political party, it's not Zimbabwe. ZANU PF is made up of few greedy people. Not all of in ZANU PF are greedy. Few greedy individuals there. Majority are suffering. We all know that. Majority are suffering. Majority are suffering. I know people who are in ZANU PF who are busy talking nonsense online, who are literally moving around asking for money. And they're being humiliated online. They're asking people for money, but they are supporting ZANU PF. So to me, not everyone is benefiting. I remember speaking to someone who has got a relative that's very close, who is very much hardcore in his ZANU PF, who was saying, I'm looking for a man to actually go to the UK, maybe trying to go and do care work. Because as much as you seeing us up and down supporting these big fishes, we have absolutely nothing. So for me to say the whole ZANU PF is a political party, people are benefiting, it's wrong. It's a few guys who are pulling the strings and use the vulnerable. They've manipulated people's brains, hijacked their brains, so that you bootlick me. You know, I don't believe that someone can pass with a Ferrari, then I must not sleep and say, oh, it's a Ferrari. I'm not that kind of person. You can bring anything, it will never move me. But show me your character. If your character is great, I'll love you forever and I'll respect you. But if you think you can use material things to abuse people, forget it. You will never, I swear. If you think I'm going to stop, I'm not a person who stop and say, I take pictures of celebrity. I'm not that kind of person. I remember one day I went to the shop in Pick and Pay and I was doing my shopping. There was this guy, he was a celebrity actually. I knew him. And this guy was trying, he kept on looking at me thinking that I'm going to shake and say, let's take a picture. I said, no, I don't do that. No, I don't do that. You know, everyone is a celebrity. I'm a celebrity too. Everyone is a celebrity. Why should I have to bow you and take a picture with you? Who are you? No, I don't do that. I respect men and women of respect in our society. Those that abuse people think that I must jump and bootlick you. No, I don't do that. Unfortunately not. The only person I beg is God, because I know if he takes the breath, I'm out. So I have the right to beg him. I can pray and I say, Yahweh, come to my corner. I love you. You know, I can tell him any day. If you want to whip me, but I'm still your baby. You know, because I know he can take the breath away and I'm gone. But any human being who's walking with 2 feet, forget it. I will respect you if you deserve it. But if you don't deserve it, forget it. I'm not going to respect you. But Brighton Matebuka responded immediately. You know, there's quite a bit of a squabble between the two. Because, you know, Wapo Shimona thinks he is the person. And Brighton went after him last time. He said, okay, just calling out the duplicity of the award-winning journalist in his, because he wrote this on the radio article below. Many of you will recall that I challenged him when he wrote that Tshabangu represented as an internal Triple C political feud. Even claimed that he had met senior Triple C MPs at the time in respect of this, maybe because their bodies was at a debate, of course, maybe that's what he referred to. So he said he wrote this at a crucial time in the saga when the regime was desperate for a narrative that would exonerate it and helped it to convince some gullible citizens. He also tied this to absence of collective leadership from Nelson Chamisa's point. He has never recanted his claims of the involvement of senior Triple C MPs, but has now appeared to suggest that he has only just become convinced that Tshabangu is a ZANU PF pawn. Only now, because of the Mabvuku-Tafara MP fiasco. That's why I'm saying I don't respect, I'm losing my respect for Hopo Chingono, honestly. Because Hopo Chingono was pretending like he can't see because he supported Tedabiti. For that reason, you pretend like you didn't see that Songes Tshabangu was an imposter. Even after Nelson Chamisa made it clear, people still say, no, you were saying, it was clear he was an imposter. Very clear in black and white. The guy, you could see that he was a deranged human. Even up to date, mentally is not stable, in my opinion. A man who can have an interview can't even look into people's eyes. and you tell me that person is telling the truth? No, definitely not. Is that credible given that very clear path that Tshabangu followed from the very beginning? Why is there a lack of concern in the peddling of a pro-ZANU PF and regime narrative while claiming to be anti-regime and anti-ZANU PF? It is also very important to recall that the award-winning one was very dismissive of the report, SADC report, quickly and advised people to move on in the immediate aftermath of the sham of an election. It's red flags galore to the discerning. And I'm also thinking is right here, because that's when people are saying they assume that Opochimon was given in a brown envelope. Because I remember Opochimon being very close to Chamisa, and he turned immediately, and all of a sudden he's attacking him. I do not have to attack my friends because they don't agree with what I believe in. I don't have to attack someone because they do not agree with what I believe in. There's no reason. But that was very much like someone is driving the narrative. And that's when you remember, you heard Mutangwa coming out and say, we are trying to protect Tenebi Songezo from Nelson Chamisa. And also Songezo is the only one stable person in the party. And on the other hand, Wopo Shimon is also attacking Nelson Chamisa. I guess that's why you have seen him. He's always says he's got money. He's a rich man, alcohol everywhere. He's showing you he's living the largest life, bigger life. Good luck for you, brother. But you know what? All those alcohol, houses, cars, it's a vanity. In the end, you came with nothing, brother. You're going to live with nothing. All is vanity. There's nothing else that can be done since it is now clear that Tshabangu is a ZANU PF pawn. After opposing an application to reinstate the Mabvuku-Tafara member of parliament, when he initially lied on Blessed Mhlanga's show that he had recalled the Mabvuku-Tafara MP by mistake, what Triple C must do after crooked Tshabangu and ZANU PF party? So this was him, hope watching going to say this. But in totality, Triple C must just pull out so that we can start the real deal game. The real deal game must start now. Pull out, y'all. Pull out. Unless the real change in the country begins, we are going to self-cleanse that country, whether the devil like it or not, whether they believe or they don't believe. This country will be the Zimbabwe that we all want. We are going to squeeze each other, y'all. Brothers and sisters, we are cleaning the country. Now we are finally going to clean up the country. When you guys are head on in parliament on your own, fixing the mess that you have started. By the way, you remember what Mutambara said, ZANU PF has no capacity whatsoever to fix the problems because they are the ones who created them. And I agree with that. It takes a certain kind of grace to firstly admit that I am the one who caused this mess. And then taking steps to resolve them. But here's the danger. Here's the danger. Because resolving a problem requires change. And we all know that change isn't comfortable for everybody. Change is not comfortable, y'all. Change is painful. Was ZANU PF willing to come down from their high horse? You know, they always think we are the gods. You know, so when they're talking, they look like they're gods. You know, it's our way or no way. This time, muchange question parliament. Chokwali chabda pachena. Dimaga stora kamugati. Munongo blame my sanctions. Muchangwa, you say that. Munongo blame my sanctions. Move out. Let other people come through and let's see if we can have a solution. Now I'm gonna come back and say we are blaming sanctions. Sort yourself out there. ZANU PF. Gadzirisana kweshana ikoko. Bring back the money that was looted by your bodies. Mujatora chokwadi. When you're on your own in parliament. When people say we are done. Now. I don't know if I can call this, I don't know. I can't call this good news at all. Yo, can you tell me, you all know Mthuli Ncube. What's your rating on Mthuli Ncube? Because I'm in shock that actually Mthuli Ncube was given an award in the United Kingdom. And Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion Minister, Prof Mthuli Ncube has been voted. Oh, sorry. So it's Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion Minister. Okay, sorry. Oh, that's a long resume right there. I didn't. Oh, okay. This guy kind of carrying a lot of portfolios. I mean, Professor Mutuli Ncube has been voted the best African finance minister. Huh? He has been voted the best African Finance Minister of the Year. African Finance Minister of the Year with such a hyperinflation in that country. And named among 100 most reputable people at the 2-day Global Reputation Forum. Reputable Bank and FinTech Awards in Westminster, England. England yesterday. Or in the UK. That Mutuli Ncube is the best minister in Africa. Huh? How did they come up with that verdict? And this is another propaganda, yeah. I saw him with some dudes there, and do they even know? Did they even, maybe consult Zimbabweans to find out if he is actually a best finance minister, Mutuli Ncube? And Fazama replied, he said, Mutuli Ncube is the worst minister in Zimbabwe has ever heard. Triple-digit hyperinflation, 49% extreme poverty, ballooning debt crisis, dead Zim dollar, broken budget, scavenging treasury, hard tax, stealing exporters' proceeds, more tax, exchange rate confusion, rejected by Crowdry Park, 2% tax, lied that they built donor clinic, gold leakages, zig, and also even more tax. He is failed. It's a mess. He must resign. So Mutuli Ncube must resign. So he said, by the way, don't forget Mutuli Ncube is building a mansion in South Africa. Mutuli Ncube is building a mansion in South Africa. I hope you get me right. Mutuli Ncube, the finance minister in Zimbabwe, is building a mansion in South Africa closer to home. So that when things get ugly there, the brother is going to sneak to South Africa and just have to relax there with his family, because I guess the family is up there and that's too far. I heard England, Switzerland. Where is it? England, Switzerland, I don't know where, but somewhere there. They are too far, so you want them closer. So he's building a mansion in Denfen, that is in 4 West Denfen there. Those golf, beautiful houses. I know most of, very prominent guys stays there, and I also have some of my family stay there. So Mr. Mutuli Ncube is building a mansion there. So while you are busy suffering in the country, they are building themselves houses. We should ask yourself, Sarah, until when, Lord? Until when? But yes, he is building a mansion in Denfen. Mutuli Ncube. That was actually being, exposed by Xavier Kasukwire on X. Now, Mr. Magaya built a stadium. First and foremost, I have nothing much to say much more about this in terms of, I don't know if I can say congratulations. I need to focus on the people that he included in his pyramid scheme that lost money. And you remember a lot of people invested money into whatever he was calling an investment portfolio. Now, the question I'm going to ask you right now, guys, is that did he pay back the money to those people that he had taken money from? You remember Magaya in the issue of people's money? Do you remember? I saw a lot of people crying. Some of them were crying in Cape Town. Some were crying in Johannesburg. And there were people that were crying, literally said that he took the money on a pyramid scheme. Did he pay the money before this whole thing? Because for me, principles matter, honestly. You rather pay back the money to the poor, and then we can talk about the whole ground thing. By the way, the way I know fake prophets and prophets and their work and what happens in the background and the cultism and all. Yeah, I have nothing more to say. But there was a picture there that is circulating where he's looking at me somehow. They're all clapping hands, and it says you are number one. Is Ash number one? Remember the number one that came on Gold Mafia? It's like hash number one, you are the number one, Jersey and all. Remember the gold mafia? Only God knows where we are going. Only God knows where we are going. But Zimbabwe is cleaning itself as we speak. A lot is going to unravel. Yeah, I'm coming back. A lot is going to unravel. Trust me. The Zimbabwe political ecosystem is cleaning up itself like the sea at this moment. What will emerge is realignment and separation from political debris. The Zimbabwe political ecosystem is cleaning up itself like the sea. At this moment, what will emerge is realignment and separation of political debris. That is Alina Kade. So, I'm going to land right here. Just know that our political ecosystem is moving itself up. The cleaning is happening, and it's deep cleaning. We talk of thorough cleaning. It's happening right now. And the real politics has just begun. May God bless you, and may God bless Zimbabwe. I'll see you later on this afternoon. I love you all, and please love each other. Share some love, and I'll see you next time. And bye for now.